Chapter 3.
Welcome to Manchuria.
The train that is carrying a whole load of Japanese passengers is gusty, noisy, and smelly. 2 days is a long time, but finally, without fanfare, we entered the Manchurian Chinese province. The rustling of other passengers wakes me, and I can tell by the light that it is very early in the morning. I am dumbfounded when I look out the greasy window and examine Manchuria's vast, white-veiled wilderness. The occasional brown of a bush punctuates the untouched snow, and I wonder where the nearest house is, the nearest person or animal. I can imagine there are so many hidden mysteries, burrows, insects, grasses, and dirt beneath, but now it's as if none exist under the many frozen layers of winter. This is my welcome, this vast expanse of crystalline white, and I acknowledge it graciously. The sun peeps over the earth's curve, a glittering fireball painting the sky in faded hues of cold orange and yellow. It is not yet high enough to color the land we are passing through, so although I can see outlines, the details are shadowed. I must admit that I am impressed, which surprises me. There is something so solemn and profound about what I am seeing that I dare not take my eyes off it. I was not expecting this place to cause me to feel in or about it. What a sight! A man outside my compartment breathes, snapping me out of my reverie. The winter in Manchuria is as long as 7 months, I'm told.
I didn't know that.
It seems like a long time, though, from the warmth of my cabin, this doesn't seem so bad.
It is extraordinarily beautiful.
Really? I recognize the woman's apprehensive voice. I'm a southerner. I don't know if I can adapt to the cold so easily. It's a statement and a question laden with the doubts and optimism of the inevitable. She'll adapt. We all will, even though I know exactly what she means. 7 months.
I open the compartment door.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Kurihara.
I greet the couple with a smile.
Their compartment is next to mine, and we have talked, laughed, and shared supplies on our journey across this seemingly never-ending land. Good morning, Mrs. Setu. They smile easily, and the wife, Mrs. Kurihara Tomoko, says with surprise in her voice, Manchuria is so cold.
Look at the snow.
My hometown has spring cherry blossoms right now.
It does look cold here, I reply. She has reminded me of home again.
Mrs. Kurihara constantly talks about her origins, like a nervous tick. She has 4 children and is, by the looks of it, in her mid-30s.
Her hair is long and black.
She has a double eyelid, and I can't help but admire it each time I see it. She exudes something obscenely healthy and happy, and because of that, I keep hunting for flaws in her optimism, a chink in her armor. So far, I have come up empty, which makes me hunt even harder. Mrs. Kurihara Tomoko and her husband, Mr. Kurihara Masa, used to own a general store in Tokyo, which burned to the ground a year ago. Since then, they have been helping out Masa's cousin at his store after he broke his legs falling off a bike, which was fortuitous in an unfortunate kind of way. They don't have the funds to start again with their own store in Tokyo and so were eagerly seduced by the promise of new things in Manchuria. Mr. Kurihara Masa was asked to be a small business leader there. Business skills are not widespread but are desperately needed for innovation in a new economy. They are pleased to be going.
Tokyo has been hard.
Imagine this wild land in the future, packed with buildings, shops, schools, hospitals. Our children or grandchildren will be the first residents in this new city.
That's Masa. I can tell by the look of wonder on his face that he is really seeing this grand picture as he gazes out the window. He pushes his glasses closer to his eyes, which seem to get bigger. His black mustache almost covers his top lip, and I wonder if it goes into his mouth when he eats. It seems like it might, just a little, especially those little wisps around the edges. This is why we are here, Tomoko whispers. There is wonder in her eyes too, and excitement, and I realize they have been doing exactly what I had been, creating a future in our minds that doesn't really exist, so we can move forward without the crushing depression that might otherwise take hold. This makes me smile. Our passageway daydreams are interrupted by the doors to their compartment bursting open.
Mum.
A girl of about 12 opens the doors, searching for her mother's face. The girl's hair is messy from sleep, her rounded facial features offset by the straight-hipped body of the child she almost isn't. Her chin tilts up in the exact same way as her father's, but otherwise, she is a carbon copy of Tomoko. I think Yuri needs to go to the toilet.
I can take her, she says. It's a question, really, and her mother replies, Thanks, Hutsuko. Please.
Tomoko continues but now speaks to me, so fortunate for the firstborn being a daughter.
Very helpful indeed. I smile.
I will have no such luck. Masa is clearly very proud of his children. I can see it in his face. He seems like he'd be a wonderful man to have as a father, simply because he is so affirming. Tomoko and their children seem relaxed and comfortable. Loved.
I envy their togetherness, though soon I will have that too, so I keep my envy to a manageable pleasure at their company. They are a lovely family, and I am pleased to have shared this trip with them as train compartment neighbors.
Hutsuko reappears in the compartment doorway with 2-year-old Yui and holds her hand patiently as they slowly walk down the passageway to the toilet.
Yui has insisted on walking herself and, despite wearing a nappy, is keen to use the toilet like a grown-up. The only problem is that she hasn't quite mastered the art of timing, so these toilet trips are frequently fruitless, more like an outing than anything. I look at Hutsuko's slender back, slowly sidestepping away from us. Is she in high school yet?
She just started high school in Japan.
She wasn't too pleased to be leaving, I can tell you.
Tomoko makes an exasperated sigh and gestures to suggest there have been some tantrums. I don't blame Hutsuko. I've felt like heaving myself on the ground to have a few tantrums myself lately.
I'm hoping to be back in Japan by the time Fuma starts school, I say. Yes, well, I hope the schools are properly set up here. I have 4 kids who need to learn to read and write properly. Japan has run Manchuria, a widespread set of 3 provinces, for over a decade now, which means the Japanese schools should be relatively well established. Hundreds of thousands are here now, and it doesn't take long for humans to set up shop.
We are very industrious. Tomoko and I theorize over which facilities we think should be in place after 10 years.
Shops, schools, and a hospital. We muse about paved roads and stop signs, which have only been introduced in some busier parts of Japanese cities. It feels like we are going in fresh, but the truth is, we have invaded and taken over part of another country, and they will already have infrastructure in place. Again, my heart sinks at the thought. We don't talk about that, which I am grateful for.
I'm not sure what I would say. I feel like I am learning to accept it only by denying its existence.
It doesn't feel quite right, but it keeps me safe for now.
I rub my cold hands together.
The heating in the carriage has been temperamental. You know, Tomoko says thoughtfully, we lost everything so that we won't be returning in a hurry. A shop in Manchuria means we will probably be there forever. What a thought! Despite the situation they find themselves in, I am constantly surprised by how good-natured this family is. They are not struggling for money, exactly, but they have a plan for their money, a new shop. A lot is resting on this move, but they are so unbelievably cheerful about the whole thing.
It is mind-boggling. Tomoko doesn't even seem sad to be leaving Tokyo. They have been laughing and joking the whole trip as if they were going on holiday. My husband has been working in Manchuria for over 2 years.
He said there are great opportunities for business there because it's so new. Well, I hope so. Keep the competition down, Tomoko says, her eyes sparkling with the prospect. They assume they will be successful. I believe it. I am positive that my family and Kurihara's family will share meals from time to time, and no doubt we will buy our supplies at their store.
The thought makes me smile.
I have already started to build my new community on this trip, though I have not seen my seasick friend Sanai since the boat. I watch for her, but she may have ended up on a different train to a different place.
I guess I just assumed we were all going to the same place.
In fact, I still assume we are all going to the same place because I assume that there are only a few places we can go to that are inhabited by Japanese.
I don't even know if this is true.
Manchuria is not a town, a city, or a county. It is 3 large provinces spanning many thousands of miles. I check my watch. Gosh, my son has been sleeping for over 10 hours. He was so tired last night. I step inside my compartment, close the doors, and look at my sleeping baby wrapped tightly in a blanket in his travel cradle.
Fumi's arm twitches in his sleep.
I feel a burst of love for this exquisite, tiny little person. We are due to arrive at our destination in about an hour. I breathe in deeply, feeling relief and excitement bubbling through me like an effervescent fizz. I'm going to see my husband soon. Although I am starting to feel nervous with pleasure, I am exhausted and desperately longing for this journey to be over. It has been immense. My husband and I were together for about 2 years before his departure to Manchuria. He was tall, had a medium body build, and had tan skin with no wrinkles. He wore a traditional Japanese yukata, which made him look taller and bigger. He cuddled me in his arms and whispered in my ear, "I wait for you and our baby in Manchuria."
How does he look now? I wonder with a smile.
Suddenly, a deafening explosion occurs behind our carriage, followed by dark smoke. A terrifying, loud cracking sound snaps me quickly out of my daydream, and the whole train vibrates and jolts, screeching like a starving demon, sending snow, Fumi, and me flying across the cabin. What happened? Train derailment? Or have we been bombed? This all happens in classic emergency slow motion, where I can feel the impact of the walls and furniture on my flesh, but no pain. I know that's wrong. Bags, food, and papers fly everywhere, and I can hear screaming and shouting from all directions.
I realize a sound is coming from my mouth and close it with a cough. I feel the panic start to rise.
Soon enough, I hear the noise of the engines and screeching stops, replaced with very human noises. The lights have gone out inside, so the only illumination is from the reflection of the snow outside the window. Plumes of dust are blocking my vision, and I can feel a cold wind blowing over me, pushing the dust further into my eyes. I need to find my baby, which, to my intense relief, won't be too hard because I can hear him screaming.
He is near. He is alive.
Our whole carriage has tipped over, and when I look out the window, which is cracked but still miraculously intact, I can see that the frozen ground is just inches from my face.
Bile rises in my throat.
Fumi is still in his cradle, but on its side against the wall. He doesn't seem to be hurt, just scared, like me. I crawl over as best I can without doing too much damage in the mess of wood and bags and awkwardly pluck him out, squeezing him to my chest, covering the back of his head with my palm.
I feel a wave of nausea.
There is some blood. I can see it and smell it, but I can't feel anything. A piece of plywood drops from the compartment door, which is now above my head, dust flying like a blizzard in the chilly gusts now openly chasing snowflakes through the broken carriage. I wonder in this moment if I am going to die, and at the same moment notice the grain of the wood on the side of the carriage, a little not eye looking at me.
I feel dizzy and sick.
I can hear wailing and shouting, and although I know I should try to get out, I can't move. I lay there breathing hard, trying not to vomit, my mind simultaneously buzzing and blank, noticing the eye again and again. What are you looking at? At the same time, I see the lower half of a woman's body buried under a huge piece of broken carriage, right next to me, with blood everywhere.
I recognize her. She was in the same carriage with me. Is she okay?
I try to pull her body out of the broken carriage, but I cannot move. Then I kick my legs with Fumi in my arm and, little by little, crawl out. At this stage, I realize that I might just get some scratches on my head but not be seriously injured. I turned my head and looked at her face. Her forehead was cut with blood over her face, and her eyes were closed. Her swollen cheek and puffy lip were like an angry ghost on Halloween. I called her, but no response. I am terrified, and my body is trembling. The smell of the blood and the dead body makes me feel dizzy and nauseous. I black out.
Fumi's crying wakes me up.
I can still hear yelling outside the train, but closer now, and I weakly called out, "Help." It is the limpiest sound I've ever heard come out of my mouth, but I can't muster the strength to call out properly. In the next instant, men appear outside the carriage, and the side of the train is being ripped off with a noise so immense it hurts my brain. It surely can't be because they heard me, and they heard my babies crying. Many Manchurian police and Japanese soldiers are surrounding here, though. They are helping and saving those Japanese who survived. There is tension in the air. Is this a terrorist attack? I wonder. Who is the terrorist?
Why did they attack the Japanese? We are in the land of Manchuria.
I am confused. Then, I hear a voice that I recognize. It's Mr. Kurihara. He just had scratches like me, and I am glad my traveling companions are unharmed.
Japanese soldiers saved us. They carry Fumi and me out of the crumpled carriage. I glance at the dead woman's body next to me.
I am nauseous and vomiting. My body is trembling. Chieko. I hear a male voice, deep and rich. It is familiar, but my mind is foggy.
His face comes into view.
It's my husband. He has just arrived. He moves his head so that I can see his face without moving mine, and I burst into tears, the tears of the torn, and then start to howl. Every shred of pain, of love, of sheer relief I feel grinding out of my body in a noisy, snotty mess. This was not the reunion I was hoping for, but it's now if I was ever glad to see Katsuo. The unexpected brutality of this surprise reunion means there is no time to bring to life the sequence I have fantasized about so many times. In my fantasy reunion, I look radiant in my red dress. I have a fresh, glossy mouth and a clean baby. I am not covered in blood. Mine? Someone else's? In my travel slippers, with dust in my hair in the broken carriage of a wrecked train.
I feel too overwhelmed to care. Katsuo holds my head and strokes my face.
You're okay, he whispers into my ear, and my body racks with sobs once again. I am shivering, sobbing, and covered in blood, but I am alive, my baby is unharmed, and my husband finally has his arms around me.
This is my welcome to Manchuria.